Bob, it's been a minute since I've checked in with you and we've chatted about like what's happening in the world of your training, your
Mhm.
nutrition strategies. So, and I know that we have some listeners who like to follow along with our own personal updates and things that we experiment with. So, I think we should take a few minutes and just provide a kind of quick update on what is happening in the world of Bob Sebahar's nutrition and training right now. And then maybe I have a few things to add on my side.
Yeah,
Uh,
maybe we'll turn the tables a little bit on you also.
okay.
Okay, yeah. Well,
But what's
and
been happening?
yeah, and listeners, I just want to start by saying, we usually don't share this stuff because we're like, well, who cares? Like, who cares about us, right? But what we've been actually noticing in our Patreon community too is like people are actually asking questions like, hey, what are you doing? What's going on? And obviously a lot of the stuff we do are N of one experiments, but I read of other N of one experiments and I grab a couple things. Sometimes I'm like, yeah, that makes sense to me. Or, no, I'd never try that. So we're really just sharing this to just be transparent. Maybe we help you along the way. Maybe you do something different. Maybe you don't. So yeah, let's get into it. So as we speak on this episode, let's start with training first. So earlier this year, I was training for a 145-mile endurance run in London, and did not make the time cutoff. I made it to the fourth check station, but went off course a little bit and this and that, and missed the time cutoff by 14 minutes. So from there, I was really thinking a lot, and I won't get into the emotional side of this because there was a huge emotional side of this. But I was thinking, what do I want to do? Because I feel like we all go through that. Like, what do I want to do now? I'm kind of bored, or am I bored? Anyway, what I was thinking was a lot, and this probably took me a good few weeks to think about, was like, what brings me joy? And I know that might sound kind of weird, but for me at the time of the life that I'm in, it's really important to do things that are very joyful and bring joy in my life, because sometimes we don't have a lot of joy, right? And sometimes it brings us down. So I was like, God, what makes me truly happy? And D, one, I love being on my bike. Like, I love being on a mountain bike.
Yeah.
Well, I love being on trails. Let me just put it that way, right? So
Yeah.
I love recreational mountain biking. I'm going to include more of that in my training, just because I love, like, and I'm not fast. I don't bomb the downhills anymore like I used to. I'm just like, listen, I want to be out here. I want to enjoy nature. I love pushing the uphills. I love uphills to death because for some reason I'm wired that way. But so that's part of it. But the bigger picture is what really brings me joy: trail running, which is just wow, and strength. And D, I don't even think we've talked about this yet before, but way back, way back, this is probably, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago, 11 years ago, I got into obstacle course racing,
Oh,
specifically
yeah.
Spartan training, Spartan racing, right? And there are many different types of, there's Tough Mudder, there's Spartan, there's a whole bunch of different things, but let's just call it obstacle course racing, where there's different formats. The one that I love doing is trail running with strength obstacles, right? So as I was contemplating, I was like, God, I love just getting strong. And that's one of the things I was missing with ultra running training. Is one thing that had to significantly decrease was lifting, was strength training, right?
Hmm.
So best of both worlds for me. What I am doing now is I am combining my love of trail running and getting myself stronger. And next year, 2026, I am going to re-enter the obstacle course racing competitive, and by my definition of competitive, being competitive with myself, right? I'm going to enter the obstacle course racing, or the OCR field again, and super pumped
Oh,
about that.
so awesome, Bob.
I know, right? And I don't
That
know
is
if
so
if
great.
you've ever done one, or listeners, it's like the most unbelievable experience ever. And listen, there's different distances. Like, I'm like Spartan specifically, they have
Yeah.
like shorter, like a triathlon, right? There's a shorter distance, there's a longer distance. So you don't have to be intimidated by it, but it's super cool because depending on the course length, with Spartan racing specifically, and that's what I'll be doing. I'm actually training for the ultra. I did an ultra Spartan race in 2018, was the last one I did, and that was up in where was that? Was that Winter Park? Anyway, we ran up a mountain twice, right, to 11,000 feet, and we did obstacles. But
Okay.
I'll be training for a 50K run, trail run, with 60 obstacles along the way. So,
Ooh,
and
wow.
these obstacles are totally cool because you could be trying to climb a wall, rope climbs, bear crawling under barbed wire, carrying super
Yeah.
heavy like Atlas stone rocks, buckets that weigh, 50, 60 pounds up a mountain kind of a thing. So I
Super
don't know.
cool.
I get goosebumps and I just get so jazzed when I talk about that.
I wondered if at some point you were going to dabble in high rocks stuff
Oh,
or if that was not your
I
shtick because
I
it's, yeah,
actually was
different.
thinking of that, but I'm like,
Yeah.
God, I really just love the outdoor running.
Outdoor.
I
Yeah.
think at some point I will do a high rocks because it does
Hmm.
intrigue me. And I was actually talking to my wife because you could do it in pairs. I'm like, hey, maybe we should just
Oh,
sign up as a
wow.
pair as a couple.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That'd be
Maybe that's in my
fun.
future, but I love dirt. I love trails, so that kind of I'll stick with that for right now.
That sounds amazing, Bob.
Yeah, yeah. So
And
I'm super pumped just to get back into strength training a lot more, D. I mean, like
yeah,
I
and
did a lot of functional stuff while ultra running, but not like
yeah,
the weights. You know what I mean? Just the
yeah.
yeah.
You're kind of inspiring me. I'm in this like sponge mode, seeing what
Yeah.
others are doing and what their
Okay.
energy is and things. And I honestly, I kind of forgot about this opportunity or this kind of sport that you
Yeah.
can blend these couple loves. And so I definitely can hear that in your voice that this is
Yeah.
exciting
That's
to
amazing. And they
bring
have
that
them
back
all
in.
around the country. The one I'll be doing is in Colorado Springs, so it's close to home. So
Oh,
it's you don't
nice.
have to travel that much. So,
Okay.
maybe I peruse you to sign up for one also, D. It's
Would
in
you
May.
say would you say it is there are options for beginners
Oh,
or
for
you
sure.
kind of
Yeah.
need
So they have a sprint
okay.
distance,
Okay.
which is, I think it's like 3 miles, and I can't
Okay.
remember how many obstacles. But that one, like literally years ago, when I was coaching my junior triathlon team, the Energy Performance Triathlon team, I took a group of my junior athletes who were literally, teenagers. We all did the sprint together. It was super cool. It was
Nice.
just so much fun, and yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it's just
Okay.
yeah. And there are different levels. Like you can sign up. They have like an age group level, an open level, elites, of which let the elites be the elites. But
Hmm.
so if you sign up for the open, it's just camaraderie. It's such a cool sport. It's kind of like ultra
Okay.
running. Like everyone helps each other out. Everyone's pretty cool and chill. You know what I mean? It's just got that
Okay.
vibe.
Wow. I am intrigued. And
So,
congratulations, Bob. That's
well, thank you,
awesome.
thank you.
Yeah.
So, Dina, do you
Yeah.
want to do the sprint or the next one up, the super they call it? Oh, maybe we should
I'll
talk
sign
later
on the
about
dotted line later.
that.
Yeah. Let me
Okay,
check it
okay.
out.
You'd be good at them because again, it's the love of trail running and strength. If like if
Yeah.
you love both of them, like you don't have to be good at both of them. If you love both of them, it's an awesome sport.
But you don't know the obstacles in advance, right? Like
Well,
if they're gonna put barbed wire
they
things
actually
or
you can pretty much assume what they'll have, but they
yeah.
actually list them these days, which is
Okay.
interesting because there used
Okay.
to be like 10 years ago when I got into it, like you kind of knew like yeah, there's going to be a rope climb, you're going to have to jump over
Yeah.
walls, but some of the
Okay.
obstacles were like secrets, right? You
Okay.
didn't really know, but these days I think they're much more transparent. And they'll
Okay.
actually have videos on their website to like here it
Oh,
is, so you can kind of help with your
okay.
training also be like, oh, I need to carry a big round boulder,
Yeah.
20 feet. Maybe I can
Interesting.
carry something in my yard, or you know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah, I
Yeah.
was just thinking like, oh no, what if there's a rope climb and you didn't have rope training in your
Yeah, yeah.
lead up? And then the
Well,
confidence or like, oh
exactly.
no, I'm
Yeah.
out.
There are penalties, and
So you can take
if you
penalties.
can't do an obstacle, it's
Yeah.
either, and don't quote me on this, I believe it's based on what
Oh,
category you sign up for. In the
right.
past, you had to do 30 burpees,
I
right,
see.
for failing an obstacle. Or these days, they also do like a penalty loop or lap, which is from what
Okay.
I'm reading, a 200-meter lap somewhere. So
Okay.
pick your poison kind of a thing.
All right.
But that
Makes
said,
sense.
also it's like I would say for anyone listening, if you're thinking about getting into obstacle course racing, one of the big things that I did not know when I did my first one was the importance of grip strength.
Ooh.
Now, interestingly, grip strength is actually correlated to longevity also. So it makes sense,
Yeah.
but that's one thing that made me fail on so many obstacles is grip strength. So that's in the next race I did years ago. That was like the one thing that I improved. It made a world of difference.
Wow.
And
That's
literally
like,
you can just hang from a bar or
yeah.
just do a grip strength or whatever it is, but that's one of the biggest things I can share is improve your grip strength for many
This is
different
like
reasons.
this is like longevity
Oh, it's
training,
total.
Bob,
Well,
because you're
think about it. Yeah.
yeah,
Right.
you're doing also you're blending in like some passions and love. So you're
Yep.
not like that's a fun thing. And then the
Yep.
strength and the grip strength and
Yeah.
the body strength, all that
Yeah.
stuff. So like you've got a
And
lot
it's
of
and it's
yeah.
kind of a community. They speak a lot about community with longevity too. Sorry, listeners, for going down this rabbit hole, but I think you'll appreciate this, especially if you're a little bit towards our level of age of our
Hmm.
longevity. But also, they speak a lot about community and longevity and Spartan
Um,
racing or obstacle course racing. As long as you're not doing an elite level, there is such a community out there. Like I just remember, like you'll go through the course and you'll be at a wall and someone will be there, and one of you may need a little boost, and you help your fellow person, right? So there is
and
that
that's
kind of community out there,
oh,
and it's
okay.
totally legal. It's totally fine.
Yeah.
Like it's. I mean, again, not in the elite category because they're competing for money and prizes and all that stuff. But that's what I kind of like about it. It kind of takes that ultra running community to the next level, and there's really a really cool sense of community.
Awesome, Bob.
So that's my training update, Dee. I think should we pass
Okay.
it to you and then we'll
Oh,
talk about nutrition? Yeah,
okay.
what?
Let's do
Because we
that.
know, let me set it up because you had a skiing accident last year, 2024. So
Yeah.
you rehab, like take us through like
Yeah.
maybe quickly because I know listeners followed that a little bit, but where were you and where are you now and what's coming in the future?
Yeah, I mean, especially if there's a few new listeners. I
Yeah.
had a ski accident in January 2024 and a total of two knee surgeries in that year to repair ACL and meniscus, and then a cyst that formed. And so I am almost 6.5 months or 7-ish from the second surgery.
Mm.
But yeah, I'm still doing some physical therapy with my physical therapist and then my own home, PT routines. But it's been quite a journey, Bob, because prior to that, I was more into ultra running and strength training. So in this time that we've had, has really been a focus of strengthening whole body, but also trying to work on some weaknesses that I didn't quite know were there. Like we sometimes don't know what's going on if we don't work with specialists or we think we're doing all the things and then we get injured. Like, oh, wow, that might have happened due to just a fluke accident, like there
Mhm.
was ice and all that. But there could have been
Yeah.
underlying reasons also that I wasn't strong enough to prevent the fall in the first place or the way in which I fell.
Right.
Anyways, we'll never know exactly.
Yeah.
But Bob, I think, and we talked a little bit offline recently, sometimes I'm curious about those who just keep doing the same thing over and
Mhm.
over in
Yeah.
sport.
Yeah.
And you kind of just get dependent on that one thing and in a comfort zone, even though the sport itself, like ultra running, brings its own set of challenges with different
Mm.
terrain and courses and races and things. But I've been in a kind of mental holding pattern. Like, do I want to keep doing that only with the strength stuff in the background, like the gym work and the lifting, or
Mhm.
flip some of that
Mm.
and get purposefully more strong? Like, am I a runner who does strength training, or am I a strength athlete who does some running?
Okay.
Is a
Yeah.
question. But I think overall, what I've noticed recently in my runs, the training, I won't call them training runs, but in the runs that I've been doing, is like the speed has changed quite a bit. The power has changed quite a bit. Granted, I haven't been working on that because I was
Great.
rehabbing knee. But what I realized that you made me think of this is like, oh, I actually really reflected that I liked being faster and
Mm.
stronger
Okay.
as a runner. And I don't feel that right now.
Huh.
And so, all that to kind of get to the point, like, I'm debating doing more like shorter runs. They might
Yeah.
even be road runs
Yeah.
to, like what would happen to get trained for a 5K to run that thing as
Oh.
fast as possible and
Oh.
work on VO2 stuff or, very high anaerobic whatever. I don't know
Hmm.
the coaching terms you do,
Yeah.
but just like to rebuild that part of my system because that was something I really liked.
Which
Uh,
actually makes sense as we get older, doesn't it?
it
Because we
does.
lose
It
our VO2
does.
decreases, we lose fast twitch
Uh-huh.
muscle fibers. Like it makes total sense. So I
Yeah.
love what you're saying. Yeah, I dig it.
So, but I haven't decided on anything. Like, I've got to pick this event or this timeline. The other part of me, and it's similar to what you were saying, like biking, and I have on my radar to go try out some gravel bikes because
Oh,
I don't
nice.
have a gravel bike. I have an old
Yeah.
mountain bike,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
just some other recreational things to get out into different places,
Yes.
do a different sport as cross training or other kinds of training, but also to see some different parts of the country on bike instead of on foot.
Yeah.
So, this word training, I think we all can like, you don't have to have a race
Yeah. Yeah.
in
You train for
mind
life.
to, yeah.
Yeah.
I think the message here, and I feel nervous to say is like, yeah, I don't have a ton of races on my schedule,
Yeah.
but I
And
have
that's
all
okay.
these, yeah,
Well, except
I
one
think it
next
is.
May, but besides that
Except
one.
for the OCR training
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
suddenly doing, yeah. But yeah, so it's kind of fun to be in this, the world is your oyster, and how
Yeah,
lucky
for
am I
sure.
that I was able to rehab this knee. And
Yeah.
it's not done yet, but to have opportunity to explore some other things. So that's kind of where I'm at
Yeah.
overall.
I think
Thanks.
the injury and the surgery really sucked because I remember just talking you through that, and it's
Yeah,
horrible for anyone that goes through that.
yeah.
But I feel like you will always come out of it with a different mindset because you
Hmm.
explore different things. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? And that
yeah,
sounds like kind of where you're at, which is awesome because I mean, whatever it is, you just have to find joy in it, right? It has
yeah,
to make you happy, right? So
exactly.
it sounds like you're getting there, D.
Yeah. Thanks
Yeah.
for listening, Bob.
Oh, everyone else is listening too.
I want to know what's been happening, and so do the listeners, nutritionally, what's going on
Yeah,
with
this is
you
an
lately.
interesting one. So leading up to the 145-mile run, I was not making any major changes, just kind of tweaking my metabolic efficiency and, kind of the same thing. I focus on protein, kind of practice what I preach. Focus on
Yeah,
protein, try to get as many fruits and vegetables as possible, although that is my Achilles heel for sure. That's tough. Grains and starches was fairly minimal to low moderate. So I kind of kept that up through June. And now I'm reevaluating. So I do these very comprehensive blood work screenings twice a year. And at some point, I have to do this because I've always tinkered with my nutrition to see what happens to my blood work, specifically my blood lipids and my cardiovascular risk, because
yeah,
I do have that in my family line. I've always had poor markers when it comes to that. So I don't know if I'm committing to it yet, but I will probably after I get my second round of blood work this summer. I will devise a nutrition plan for me that will be a lower carbohydrate, not keto, nothing crazy, nothing carnivore-ish, but lower carb, focusing on more monounsaturated fats instead of saturated fats because I've done that before and it actually skewed my blood lipids negatively,
yeah.
and obviously including great sources of fiber, but just kind of minimizing the carbohydrates, kind of periodizing a little bit more.
Hmm.
I'll be very strategic because on my higher intensity days, obviously I will need a little bit more carbohydrates. So that's where the fruits will come in a little bit more. But I will go a little bit less carb, kind of keep the protein where it's at because I usually don't have problems with protein. Bump up the fat, but specifically switching to monounsaturated and polyunsaturated, mostly from fish
Yeah,
and fish products. That will be coming. So not quite yet because I need to get my blood work because obviously I don't want to skew any results now. What I am doing, D, which is interesting, I just conceded to this and decided to do this, is I'm going to increase. So I take creatine every day. I know you also take creatine,
yeah,
right? Yeah.
yeah.
So I take 5 grams, usually between 5 and 10 grams a day, but more consistently 5 grams a day because that's what all the research says, cognitive functioning, muscle health, all that. Well, I've been reading a little bit about cognitive functioning, sleep deprivation, even just athletic performance, and I am going to triple my dose of creatine. So I'm going to
Okay,
take 15 grams per day for the rest of this year. And
okay.
that's going to be like a major like a supplement change specifically,
Hmm.
in addition to the dietary changes that I will make after my blood work testing. So
Okay,
and I just want to make note. It's going to be
yeah,
subjective. Obviously, I just want to make note of what's going to happen as I'm lifting more and pushing more weights and things that are heavy. I want to note what happens cognitively, even in a sleep deprived state sometimes. So I just, it's kind of a little subjective test for
yeah.
me.
And mine's similar, Bob. I had slated to do blood work back in May, and I deferred for a few
Hmm.
reasons, partly to save some extra cash, to
Yeah.
expand the list of markers to check. So I don't have my updated thorough blood work, but I had decided to add some on. And then recently, when I was at a sports nutrition conference, the ISSN, there were some compelling presentations on some different polyphenol and
Oh,
antioxidant compounds. Of course,
hmm.
these are in supplements that, like
Right.
extracts. So this is a new area for me to kind of purposefully dabble in through not just the food sources, but
Yeah.
some extracts. We can, expand on this in a future episode. Some of this as we explore more of like the world of antioxidants and
Yeah.
polyphenols. But as we're aging and some of these things, is just seeing, especially like with a knee injury, in this, like, am I going to have osteoarthritis forever,
Yeah.
or what's going to happen, and these aches and pains and things, is like, what could we do that's above and beyond the nutrition training that's in the supplement part of the pyramid.
For sure.
So that's one thing I'll be looking at after some blood work. And then
Mhm.
sadly, Bob, we just had a really good friend pass
Oh, I'm
from
sorry.
a sudden heart attack
Oh my
at the
gosh.
age of 63.
Oh,
And so this was another reason here just in the last, week, that I
yeah.
decided to add on some other markers for cardiovascular health. Just,
Right.
when you get those scares and things like I think we're doing okay, but you haven't
Yeah.
checked a couple things that now are available and making decisions from that objective data. So
Yeah.
yeah, kind of I'm similar as you, kind of like we've got some things coming, but having that data to validate the
Hmm.
next round of approach to guide what we're going to bring in next.
Yeah. Which is kind of
Yeah.
the way it should be if you think about it. Like we've
Yeah.
always talked about that, but if you're going to make nutrition changes, start off with a blood work, like a
Yeah.
comprehensive blood work first.
Hmm.
Metabolic efficiency testing would be great also, but if you don't have
Yeah.
access to that, get a comprehensive blood work, see where you're at,
Yep.
then talk to someone, a professional, to help guide you, then measure again, because that's the only way you know if something is working or not, right? I mean, that's how I picked on,
Right.
like, that's how I picked up on, oh, if I eat, like, because I did experiments of high carb, low carb, high fat, what types of fat. And that's why this is the next evolution of my experiment, because I know what happened in the previous ones because I did pre and post blood work testing, right? So now I want to just
Right.
kind of get closer to the optimal
Yeah.
nutrition plan for Bob Siebehart. And that's what we're all
Yes.
trying to do, but not for me, for you, right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
For each to their own. What? Yes,
exactly.
something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting, Dee, because as you were talking about your nutrition updates and things that you're doing, I was taking a sip of my drink
Uh-huh.
right when you were talking about antioxidants and
I
polyphenols. And I don't
know.
know if anyone can see the color of this liquid. Here's
I
what I'm going to
mean,
do. I'm going to
oh
put
yeah.
what I'm drinking
Oh yeah.
in our community,
Love.
patreon.com/ISN podcast. So if you want to know what
I'll put
Bob's drinking, which may or may not be related to what Dina was talking about, head on over to our community. I didn't
that
even
is
plan for that, Dee,
awesome.
but it just worked out well.
Oh, I know. But when I see the color of what's in that bottle, I'm like, oh,
It definitely, and
interesting.
this is
I
kind
have
of
some
why I like
guesses.
putting it in a transparent bottle so I know what I'm
Yeah.
drinking, but I wasn't planning on showing it today, but it's a dark green color. I'll just share that,
Okay.
right?
All
Okay.
right. I have some guesses, but we'll wait to see what
Yeah.
you post.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
oh,
Perfect.
Bob, well, this has been fun. And we'll keep our listeners posted, especially over on our Patreon community. And we want to hear what
Yes.
everyone else is up to, what you're thinking
Absolutely.
of in your nutrition plans, things that you are saving up for, or planning, what's on your minds. Please do share with us over in our Patreon community. You can join for free and share with the others in the community. Of course, you can pitch in a few bucks to help support our show as well and get some extra behind the scenes, which is where we share our private updates and things for our gold level members. Thanks for the scoop, Bob. I can't wait to train for OCR
Me
races.
too. Yes.
Let's see what
It's funny
happens
how I
there.
rope you into these things, Dee.
It'll be fun to follow your adventures.
Yeah. And oh,
So,
by the way, based on that, I'm back on Strava again. So if anyone wants to follow me on Strava,
Oh,
it's boring, but it's stuff.
okay.
I'll
All
I'll
right.
definitely have some interesting workouts coming up in the near future.
Okay. Okay. Now you're getting me back on Strava too.
There we go. I know I
All
took a
right.
vacation
Lots of
from it from
things.
a while too. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. All right, listeners. Thanks for joining us for this episode. We'll catch you on the next one.